What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. I know we had another crazy day in the market. We had a couple stocks like NEO and Upwork absolutely explode. We've been talking about NIO for a couple weeks now, and it seems like every single day it's breaking new highs. So NIO finished up about 12% today. We're going to be going over that stock in this video. We're also going to be talking about a lot of earnings plays like Upwork, Square, Roku, Peloton. Upwork was up about 44% today. So we had a lot of big movement in the market today, and we're going to go over all of the plays that we're watching for the rest of the week. If you guys aren't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. We post new videos every single day, but let's get right into it, Tom.
Yeah, the Dow's up over 500 points today as it heads for the best week since April as the post-election rally continues, CNBC reports. And this was a crazy move up for the markets and one that was fairly unexpected, actually. And I personally never expected this large of a swing to the upside, but hey, this is trading and the market always makes unexpected moves and you can never really just guess which way it's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, the market's really been exploding this week, and even though, like, with that being said, we still have a lot of political uncertainty, but right now it seems like the market is really liking what we saw so far in the political environment, you could say. And it's not necessarily that, Biden's in the lead, but it's more the fact that there's a gridlock in how the Republicans are set to take the Senate while Biden is set to become president. Now, we're not trying to get political or anything like that, but that we're just saying what the market is reacting off of. So
and CNBC also reports today something else with the government is the Fed holds interest rates steady near zero as they say the economy is still well below pre-pandemic levels. The Federal Reserve voted to keep short-term borrowing rates anchored in a range between 0% and 0.25%, which is really no surprise. Economic activity remains well below levels prior to the coronavirus pandemic, the Fed's post-meeting statement said. And that's tying back into why the market's also up today, is that it's just great for them to keep these rates low. The easier it is for consumers to borrow and corporations to borrow, the better it's going to be for everybody.
Absolutely. I mean, real estate prices are still doing pretty good. I mean, the real estate market has been exploding this year. Interest rates they definitely have an impact on that, but they also have an impact on just like the regular economy and the market overall. So it's good to see that the Fed still have the rates very low and they see them staying low. It's good for the market and for the economy while everything's still recovering.
Yep, and while the market was good today, CNBC reports that the Trump campaign will sue in Nevada, claiming votes by people people voted who moved or who are dead, and Biden, his lead widens. President Trump's campaign said it is filing a federal lawsuit in Nevada on Thursday seeking to block illegal votes from those people who became non-residents during the coronavirus pandemic or who are also dead. And that's a pretty big deal if dead people are voting. But the big thing is that it's really gonna, I think it could honestly turn around the market. The market's been going up the past few days, and it's been fairly good. Since there's a gridlock in the Senate and with the government overall, like you talked about. And I think that's a big deal. But as this drags out and just keeps going further and there just becomes more lawsuits and more fighting, I think that especially if like riots and stuff like that start breaking out, it could really negatively affect the market.
I mean, there's just so much political uncertainty and it's just a bunch of craziness right now. Like, I don't even know what to think in the political environment right now. It's just so volatile and so many different opinions and different data. It's just overwhelming. The main thing I'm focusing on is, look, the market's kind of exploding right now, and whatever the current political environment, you could say, the market really likes. So that's the main thing that I'm focusing on. And I mean, there's just a lot of big stocks moving right now, especially tech stocks. I mean, Apple, Microsoft, Google. I mean, they've really been exploding this week. Even Amazon's been doing pretty well. Tesla even. I mean, especially tech stocks this week have just been exploding.
Yeah, and one big thing is like if Trump if he sues and then actually like if he somehow wins the election, that could possibly turn these tech stocks and stuff back around, and that that would be a pretty big thing if that ended up happening.
True, true. So what happened with some of the earnings plays today?
Yeah, Uber had great earnings and they were up in after hours. They were down and now they're swinging back up, but their earnings, their revenue actually declined 18%, but they actually had a lot of good news come out of the elections. In California, they passed Prop 22, which pretty much allows them to classify their workers as contractors rather than full-time employees, which will obviously save Uber and Lyft both a lot of money in the long term. But their revenues declined. But one good thing is that Uber does have Uber Eats right now, and Uber Eats has done very well, and that's really keeping Uber alive right now. Uber riding, just regular Uber rides are down year over year, but Uber Eats is up 50% plus right now, and that's great.
Awesome. What other earnings news came out?
Yeah, Peloton also had some great earnings come out. Their sales surged 232%, but they warned that supply constraints could continue. So, Peloton ended up being they're about flat right now. You could see they went down, but they're kind of swinging back up, just like Uber kind of was. But it's just still good to see that they raised their outlook again, and their sales surged 232%. So that's awesome for Peloton, and they have one of the best outlooks I think out of any other company. Their projected growth was crazy. I remember their last earnings play that they had. They pretty much projected like 400 to 500% growth within the next year, which is just crazy numbers. And it could have even been higher than that. The numbers were really outstanding, and honestly, they've been holding up, and they just keep on trucking forward.
Yeah, I mean, Peloton has been just a monster stock this year from lows of about $18 back in March, and today they're at $126 stock, so they're just exploding. And Tom, we have to go over Square. I know this one has had a lot of hype, a lot of anticipation around this earnings event. What happened with Square earnings today?
Yeah, Square, they actually had great revenue. It was 3.03 billion versus an estimated 2.05 billion, and you can see their movement in after hours how great it actually is. But I actually have a picture right here, and this is directly from Square, and this is the form that they actually give to the SEC whenever they're reporting their earnings, I believe. And you can see their gross profit right here is plus 59% year over year. Their Cash App gross profit, though, is 212% year over year, which is awesome growth out of Cash App, and that really came from the virus. And their net revenue is up 140% year over year. This is just some amazing numbers. Square's a great company with their transactions and the stuff they do with Cash App and the Square chip readers and different things like that. They're really a great company, and their numbers are proving it. And I really like this stock, and a lot of people were betting on them to go up in our Discord, on these earnings.
Yeah, just keep in mind, guys, earnings are a complete gamble. Sometimes they end up working out great, and you could have said, oh, I could have made 500% on this earnings play. But overall, through the long term, playing earnings is a gamble. So just be careful playing any types of earnings. And then with the last earnings play I wanted to go over was Upwork. So UPWK, this stock exploded today. And Upwork, if you guys don't know, is pretty much a site you can go on to hire people to get a certain job done for you. So there's a bunch of freelancers on there and a bunch of people just hiring to get whatever jobs they need done. And Upwork has really been exploding this year. They were about $5 a share back in March, and right now, or today, they actually had highs of about 31. And part of their growth has to do with one, obviously they are bringing in a lot better sales and revenue because they're becoming a lot more popular with COVID and all the remote work being done and all like the freelancer, just the culture and just the I don't know how to word this. Like
Pretty much everything in tech right now, just everything. Any type of like YouTube, everything right now. Everything in tech is going up, and Upwork is just another one of those companies like to where a lot of people are on there like making graphics, making songs and videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, Upwork is definitely a tech stock, but a lot of it is with the remote jobs. Like people are just, but like just the business environment is changing because of COVID, and Upwork is definitely benefiting from that, and their stock is up 43%. So that's huge. So now let's get into our member of the day. And today's member of the day is Whitney. So Whitney is always so positive in the Stocked Up Discord group. She always has something nice to say, and she's always supporting the Stocked Up community. And we just really appreciate Whitney, and she's just always so positive. So we just want to give her a quick little shout out on today's video. And if you guys aren't in the Discord chat already, feel free to join. It's the first link in the description down below. Tom and I post completely free day trades every single morning, 15 minutes before open. And like we said, it's completely free to join. And if you join, you can network with about 11,000 other traders. So now let's get into our momentum plays for tomorrow. And the first one is NIO. So
Yeah,
NIO,
it seems like nothing can stop NIO, Mike.
this thing is exploding. So actually, before we get into this, Tom, I got to give you some props for yesterday's video. We were talking about the NIO 40 strike calls that were the unusual options activity, right? And it was yesterday's unusual options activity. It was the 40 strike calls that expire tomorrow, the 6th. And basically, there was about $9 million put into that trade. And I was saying, hey, it looks like they're shorting these options, right? And you're like, no, they're longing them. And guess what? NIO exploded today, up 12%, and the options we were talking about yesterday are up 368%. So definitely props to you, Tom, on this one, but I mean, this thing is exploding.
Yeah, it's getting extremely vertical, like more vertical than Jordan could even get. I mean, holy crap! Like look at this. It's just getting crazy. I would honestly expect it to, at least consolidate and maybe not fall, back down to 20 or something, but I think it could definitely consolidate back down to 37.50 or 32 pretty soon. But it just seems like there's so much hype behind this stock, and I wish Robintrack was still able to track the Robinhood traders, because I have a feeling that about 90% of people on Robinhood have NIO shares right now.
Yeah, let's just say there's a lot of hype around this stock.
Yeah, a lot of hype, and this is one of those things to be really careful about. But make sure that they break 43.10 tomorrow morning before getting into the upside, and just keep in mind that if it does break 43.10, you can just sit here and tell if whenever it breaks those daily highs, it really runs. So just watch out for that.
Absolutely. With the next one, we have Peloton.
PTON. They had earnings today, so kind of be careful. If they end up going to the upside, make them break 130. If they go to if they end up going negative, make them fall below 116.
Yep, and then with the next play, we have MU.
MU, Micron, make them pop above 54.78.
All right, and last but not least, we have MRVL.
Marvel, make them hit above 41.75.
Awesome. So now let's get into our unusual options activity for tomorrow. And we are looking at the Netflix 520 strike call options that expire on November 6th. And there is about $4 million put into this play. And like I just said, it expires tomorrow. So Tom, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Netflix. It really looks like it's going to go up. I think this might be a play for the overall market as well. The overall market's been going up, and with that being said, a lot of the big Silicon Valley type of tech stocks have been going up. Netflix, Tesla, Apple, being the big three, and Netflix right here. I think that this is another play just for a continuation to the upside. But with that being said, though, they are a little bit out of the money, about $6, and with just with everything going on, it would be a little concerning to me to have these right now. But the thing is just I think that they're following the market up, and like you said, with the Senate right now being gridlocked and all that stuff, I think it's going to be really beneficial for these stocks, at least in the short term.
Yeah, I mean, Netflix had a pretty good day today, but like you said, I can definitely see it just following what the overall market does. All right, so now let's get into our questions from the previous episode. And the first question was awesome. So we had Gennaro saying, watching the video a little later than usual, but I made it tonight. Keeping NIO on my watch list as I'm also looking to catch it on the move down. Bullish on the stock, but it's overdue for a cool down. That said, I'm wishing everyone a great and green Thursday. And one last thing, let's go stocked up. So awesome comment. Thank you so much for that awesome energy and positivity. With the next question, we have Soul saying, "Hi, Mike and Tom. I love your videos. Beginner trader here. If you could talk about CSIQ, MITK, CYXI, VERI, or KRMD, they are mostly my long-term holdings." So let's take a quick run through this, Tom. So CSIQ.
Yeah, I mean, I really like CSIQ for the long haul. It's one of those stocks that once again it's really popped up over the past year, but in the long term, they're a solar company, which is fantastic. That market is really set to grow, and I really like it for the long term. But in the short term, I think that it's one of those stocks that could possibly pull back a little bit in the short term, but I really do like it for the long term.
All right, next one we have MITK.
MITK. I don't know too much about this one fundamentally, but they look like a pretty solid growth stock. Pretty low in price, I think. They're around $14.40, and generally that's a little low for these stocks. But I really like how this stock has had nice steady growth to the upside. It hasn't just like exploded one way or the other. It just has nice steady growth year over year.
Yep, and then ZYXI.
ZYXI. This one would be one that I'm a little more worried about. I don't know what they do exactly, but this one looks like a similar setup to kind of like Workhorse or something like that, or maybe HYLN. But you can see how much this stock has went up and how much it swung back down. I personally, I don't know what they do, so I don't know if they have the possibility to swing back up to 20 or 30. If they did before, I'm sure they could do it again. But the big thing is that a lot of these stocks pump and then they dump, and they're pump and dumps, and I'm not saying that that's what this stock is, but this is the out of all the stocks you gave me, I would say this one's the riskiest one.
All right, then we have VERI.
VERI. This one's also pretty risky looking. You can see how much they fell in the past. I don't know what this stock does either, but personally I wouldn't play this one. It's kind of similar to the last one.
All right, and then last but not least we have KRMD.
KRMV is in Victor.
KRMD is in like Dan.
D is in Dan. Okay. Wow. Yeah, this one hit a big red candle the past couple days. Let's go intraday on this. Wow. Yeah, that was some bad earnings that they had. I personally would not hold this. Man, I hope you weren't holding this one. You might be. You might have lost about 50% or so on that drop.
Yeah, I mean, just quick thoughts is he said he is a beginner, and I know both of us when we were beginners, we would always look to buy the stocks that were kind of like penny stocks or just super
Yeah,
risky.
I bought stocks like this when I was a beginner.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you could say the same thing. Like it's much more. It's much more beneficial to just actually find a better stock, even if you might not make as much, rather than have the risk of losing so much. So, for example, with KRMD, right? It's at $4 right now. It rose up to $12. So you might look at that stock and say, hey, I might be able to get 3 times my money, right? Total after buying in. And then you might look at a stock like Apple and hey, I might get 15% returns a year. But just from my experience, I mean, it's just so much more better to just buy the blue chip stocks, and at least that money is safe. This stock KRMD can go down to $1 or can go bankrupt. You know what I mean? It's just very risky.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good setups on some blue chip stocks too. Like, I'm not gonna call any out right now, but if we look at like Intel, for example, obviously they're down right now, but they're a pretty good tech company and their high was around $68. So right now they're sitting around 45, and they just have a lot of room, to move back up. And this is a stock that I personally would look at to possibly sell puts on to get shares with, or just get shares on, because this is more of like what you call like a blue chip stock or a reputable company, I'd say.
For sure. With the next question, we have Umar saying, what are your thoughts about the overall market? Is the uncertainty over, and now is the good time to buy, or is it going to drop anytime soon? So, of course, no one knows for sure, but it looks like the market has had, we know the market has had a pretty positive reaction from the election, right? Personally, I don't see the market just tanking anytime soon. But if you're looking to get into the market for the long term, no one knows the bottom, no one knows the top. But the best thing to do is, if you're uncertain, maybe just dollar cost average. Buy a little bit each week, buy a little bit each month, and then over time, it'll end up working good for you. But No one knows the bottom, no one knows the top. Even Warren Buffett, who's been trading for 70 years and who's worth like what, $80 billion. No one knows the top, no one knows the bottom.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can look at the Dow right now, and it's actually getting pretty close to all-time highs again. The all-time highs were around 29,500, right around that, pretty close to 30,000, we could say. And it's kind of getting close. We're at 28,300. We're a few hundred points off, and I really like the Dow. It looks very strong, at least right now. The Dow and the S&P and the Nasdaq all. It's just nice to see them going up. It's nice to see that. I'm not trying to get political here. It's just nice to see that the Republicans held the Senate just so that the stock market's green right now, because it would be a very weird scenario if the market was tanking right now. Like let's say the market went south as much as it went up. We might be sitting around 24,000 or 23,000 on the Dow, and that would be really worrisome to a lot of people. And I'm sure you'd see a ton of articles out by all the analysts, triggering sell-off warnings and all types of different stuff if we were at those levels.
Absolutely. Do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market for tomorrow?
Yeah, my last stock is SPCE, calling all the Space Squadron boys here. We're up all the way to $20.17 in after hours as Virgin Galactic plans a space flight test for late November. So we're going to have a test flight soon, and if that's successful, Virgin Galactic is going to be one of the only stocks that you can have exposure to in outer space. And really, there's a lot of other stocks that deal with space stuff, but none that directly go into space. And this is the only stock, and I think you're going to see a lot of volume come into this company if the test flights are successful. But just keep in mind that, if they have a test flight and it crashes or something goes wrong with the computer or something weird, then just keep in mind that can negatively affect the stock. But as of right now, they're looking good on earnings. They actually had a significantly higher than the $54 million loss. So they had a $66 million loss, which was a pretty bad loss. But they're up in after hours because of this test flight. And like I said, it's the only space stock, and the big news is the test flight.
Awesome, and thanks for sharing that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video to the end. Like we talked about earlier, if you guys aren't in our Discord already, consider joining. It's completely free. Tom and I post completely free day trades every single morning, 15 minutes before open, and you can network with about 11,000 other traders. And if you guys want to trade the same options that Tom and I trade every single day, you can click the Stocked Up Options Alerts link in the description down below. And if you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.